It is the final round of the spring 2025 season for Formula 1 eSport, and as it looks like the next season will not go underway for this league, we are still here to finish this one off in style at the home of Formula 1 in our Formula 1 eSport League. Welcome along to the British Grand Prix. The championship on the driver's side has been decided. Kad'O has already sealed the bag at the Red Bull Ring, but Ferrari and McLaren are still just separated by 10 points at the top. And this time it is not Ferrari's usual star driver in this league who starts from pole position, but it is Laguno who jumps into the seat for the first time this season. And the rest of the grid is as follows. Matt qualifies on the front row just 800ths behind the Spaniard. Kad'O and Pigeon lock out the second row for Visa Cash Up Racing Bulls. And then come the two McLarens, Guillermo and Toaster, in the middle of the pack. Both of them have won races this season and can still fight for second in the championship, but they really have to work together today. Nitro makes it 2 cars racing for Lotus, starting in 7th, and then we only have Kad'O in 8th. So Ferrari at the top and rather towards the back, with McLaren right in the middle. Then Sanis in P9, not the best of qualifying for Williams. 7th position, racing once more for Aston Martin. And Brook at the final opportunity also still makes his debut in F1 ES. We all know the track, lots of fast, legendary corners with many different racing lines available. And we might of course also see the safety car make an appearance again for every 2 retirements that we see. And it is already waiting on the starting grid along with all the other drivers, so let's look down there. On the starting grid for the last ever race in F1 ES, we could see some rainy chaos today. We go to the 5 red lights and we are underway at Silverstone. As always, I have to get the safety car out of the way, but it is a good start from Laguno in the Ferrari as we go through loop and onto Aintree, and Laguno is clear of the rest. We got Pigeon in 2nd position, Matt 3rd in the Williams, and then Kad'O still in 4th. Very nice start for the 2 RBs and also for Williams. Laguno is still ahead as they go through Maggots, Beckett's and Chapel, but he's kind of bunching them up there. The clouds are in the sky at the moment. A very wide moment for Kad'O coming through Stowe. Toaster 64 now losing a position to Nitro. It's been a good start for him. 7P7 in the Haas. Matt not racing for his own team. Laguno in 1st. And having to defend from Pigeon in 2nd place, a man that is very mighty in this championship now. Lots of soft tires around this track. It is a very fast one. The strategies aren't that certain yet. There's a high chance of rain anyways, and that's why they are going for softs. And there's an off for one of the Williams. That is Nitro now going down to 7th and made that 8th position as Guillermo in the Lotus also passes him. And also Matt has gone down to P12. It is coming undone for Williams at the moment. Also not a good start for Sanis. And we get Finn McMissile in the Aston Martin trying to make up places, but we have to go further ahead because it's wheel to wheel between Kad'O and Seb. The Haas and the RB down the hangar straight now and into Stowe corner. Kad'O once again running out wide, and there's 2 more cars passing him maybe. Oh, that's lag. Let's see who really comes out on top. Certainly not Nitro. Then we got Seb in 4th position and Kad'O. And where's the rest at 4th with them? Pigeon and Lagoon are clear. Pigeon is in the lead of the race. Do we have rain coming up now? No, we don't. Just about. It looks very slippery, but I think that was once again a moment of bad connection. And Pigeon is in the slipstream though of Laguno, trying to catch up to the Spaniard in the Ferrari. His teammate Kad'O is only in 8th position. Our champion from this league. Man that's dominated. And of course now has the teammate that's dominating UMRL alongside him and leading the race. But Pigeon coming out of Aintree and on to Brooklands gets a brilliant exit and a brilliant pass for now. But different racing lines are possible in the next few corners, and Laguno in turn 9 gets it back and retakes the lead for now. 5 laps are done. Toaster 64 with a great comeback. And he's in P3 for now. Then we got Seb. Then we got Nitro, Guillermo, and Kad'O. These two the only ones on mediums. Kad'O in 8th, as I said. Matt only 9th, and Alonso rounding out our points paying positions right now. And Toaster's in the slipstream of Seb, trying to challenge for 3rd place. Or Seb actually passed Toaster right now. Toaster, of course, having his home race around here. He is in the Lotus, also drove for McLaren for quite some time this season, and he is ahead. Back through goes the Briton. Seb is from Turkey and is driving for Haas. And Guillermo is Toaster's teammate today. He also drove for McLaren. Maybe the liveries are wrong here again. But I didn't change anything in the order. There's quite some damage for Matt. He was certainly involved in a few pileups here. And we do have someone going for an undercut. That is Seb in the pit lane. Let's see where he is going to come out. Behind Kad'O, ahead of his teammate Alonso. Maybe there's going to be... No, there's not going to be team orders, of course, because he's got fresher tires. But now there might be, because it's a mistake from Seb. Alonso ahead is fighting with Kad'O. Now that's looked like Alonso let Seb through. Into the pit lane goes Kad'O as well. The two Williams also swapping around as it seems, but they are both on old softs. Guillermo will be able to stay out for a bit longer, and now Toaster is trying to get 2nd place from Pigeon. The two home heroes go wheel to wheel through Cops. Pigeon slots in behind for the next corner complex, which would be a bit dangerous to go racing at. Oh, and very wide for Pigeon as Toaster heads for the pit lane instead. And let's see what Pigeon is going to do about that. He might lose the position for the moment. Laguno now with a 2-second lead. Looking a lot more comfortable than he was just 5 laps ago. And Toaster's gone for the mediums on his 2nd stint. Just ahead of Kad'O, but Kad'O still has to pit. Now I think Laguno is into the pits. Yes, he is. Pigeon is as well. And that is Guillermo going through, of course, on the alternative strategy. And Laguno unwraps his hard tires. Very interesting. The HUD is kind of messed up. We did have this in UMRL once. Apparently it's a 15-second lead for Laguno, but that is not quite true, because Guillermo is just behind him. Albeit on different tires. Also, Seb is not that far away. The undercut has worked for him. He is ahead of Toaster and Pigeon for the moment. Kad'O in 5th now. He still has to pit. Guillermo now did his pit stop, so he's the one, along with Alonso, who's staying out the longest, and there's a lot of chaos involving Alonso because he's just sliding through these first few corners, which are very tight. That looked like a bit of connection issues, or he is slowing down. No, he's not. Not really. And Kad'O has just fought his way through versus Kad'O. He keeps his nose in, does the man from Georgia. Oh, and he rams one of the cars in the pit lane. That's not very polite. And McMissile inside the points right now. Would be his... Yeah, it is his first race in the league. Kad'O, of course, is the reigning champion, or now has won the championship this season. Then we got Guillermo in 2nd and Toaster in 3rd. But they're separated by 16 points. Nothing's going to change in that order at the moment. Matt is also 21 points ahead of Kad'O. Seb is just 6 points behind Kad'O. And right now it is looking good for Seb as we watch Guillermo and Kad'O going wheel to wheel. Kad'O round the outside of Cops. That was a fantastic move, even though he was in the fresher, not the fresher tires, but still the faster compound. But as it stands, Seb would take... Oh, and I think there's a fight back here. Kad'O staying ahead, but now Guillermo going through. Kad'O with a strange drift there. Not sure if that was the same on his screen. And just behind that, we still got the two Williams going. Not wheel to wheel yet, but now down the straight, perhaps. Matt decides to just go with his teammate for the moment. And now it's Pigeon bunching up Kad'O and Guillermo behind him. Even though Pigeon's on fresher tires, that allows Guillermo to slip through again. Of course, he's on the medium tires, which now might come into play, but the softs still don't look too bad. Pigeon having to defend through Cops, and yeah, Guillermo just gets enough space left by the Briton. On the outside of Cops, and the rain is here. It appears in the third sector. And into the pit lane they go immediately. They kept it together going through Stowe. It was quite a hairy moment, but they all ran wide the same amount. Didn't really get caught up in the barrier here. Guillermo's gone for the inters. That certainly is a gamble, hoping that it won't rain that heavy for too long. Brooke is not in the lead. I apologize, that is a game issue. We should have Laguno at the front. Yes, we do. I think 7th, second place is still legit. Very nice undercuts performed by him earlier, and he won't have to face the consequences of getting onto the tires earlier because their stint has been just cut short by this phase of rain now. And it looks like it is going to dry up again now. But Guillermo's inters still aren't working better than the wets in these conditions. But just 1 or 2 laps from now they will. One driver has left the race so far in terms of safety car. We are not gonna see it anytime soon, unless that was a commentator's curse by myself. Yes, it was. This is unbelievable. Yes, it is. I'm gonna have to watch. Lorfin, I was trying to help you. Yes, the safety car has been deployed. Out on track it comes. Of course, I have to do this myself. Kad'O is waiting for it, and here we are going through the first few corners. This is going to change the race for the others that are behind them. Laguno and Seb are still in the wets. Toaster's gone for the slicks. And this is so exciting. I'm gonna have to make sure that I keep it on track here. Laguno's leading Seb. We're gonna have to bunch up the field here because they are quite separated from each other. Now they've pitted. Toaster should be the race leader effectively. Yes, he is. That has helped him out enormously. And the entire McLaren team. I'm just gonna assume that it is the McLaren. And now there is a queue forming. No lapped cars in this race so far. Sorry for that weird racing line right there. 22 laps. The camera is still with Laguno, who's in P3. And we still have 2 cars having to catch up to the queue. And there's another 2 cars pitting. There's a big Constantino effect every time we go through these first few corners. And now the safety car is gonna come in. That was the longest safety car phase I've ever driven. But we're heading towards the green flag now. Toaster 64 opens up the race again. He's gotten himself a beautiful gap as he goes for lap 24 at his home Grand Prix. It is a 1... No, it is no longer a 1-2. Laguno's already up into 2nd place and past Guillermo. Then Kad'O, his Ferrari teammate, is also up to 4th position. The safety car helping him out massively. And into 3rd position he goes, showing the outside line to Guillermo, who's down to P4. Then Matt in 5th position with a great gap over Seb as well. He was in 2nd place before the safety car. Wheel to wheel between Guillermo and Kad'O towards Stowe. And Guillermo retakes the place for now. Toaster's gap is diminishing again. Laguno is heading for P1 on the soft tires. We're still gonna have to watch the strategies towards the end, but they are so bunched up right now, and that is just pure racing around this awesome track. With lots of high-speed corners where lots of things can go wrong. Laguno around the outside at Cops, and he takes P1. Toaster's coming back at him on the medium tires, down to Stowe, and he does it. Back through into the lead he goes. Wide moment for Guillermo behind that. And it looks like both Ferraris are going to make up places as we cross the line once more. Wide for Laguno, and Kad'O does go through, as does Toaster. Back into the lead he goes. How is he keeping up with Kad'O and Laguno behind him? The home crowd urging him on towards Maggots, Beckett's and Chapel, and now it is Kad'O who takes P1 once again. The Lotus to the inside. Laguno has been forced onto the grass. There's too many cars trying to steal the race lead here as Kad'O goes through a collision between the two. What? Between the two Ferraris. It almost looked like Kad'O was heading out of the race with a connection issue, but no, he's not. That is Brooke, also with some lag. His race has turned into a positive after this race restart. And Guillermo and Toaster just had a 1-2, but Laguno is coming back at them. Still, it's the inside line for Toaster in Cops, but Laguno with an awesome move through Maggots, Beckett's Chapel. Now the rain is coming again. That won't affect anyone in a particularly bad way, because everyone could get his fresh tires in time, but someone is staying out. Who is this? That's one of the RBs going for something very special. Of course, it had to be Pigeon, who now has to defend from Guillermo and fresh inters. He won't be able to do that for more than 3 corners. The rain is a heavy one. It's gonna turn lighter in a few moments, but still that won't be enough for Pigeon to reclaim his home win chances. So now it is Guillermo in P1, Toaster down to 3rd, and Laguno still up there, but that was a massive mistake by Kad'O, who is just reclaiming his position against Nitro, who's been squeezed into the barrier on the inside of turn 4. And once again off the track for an RB, Kad'O showing the people the outside line here, or at least the off track. Oh, they're all barging into each other here, trying to race. In these quite laggy conditions. I'm not sure if that's down to myself or the server. Ooh. I wonder what they are seeing at the moment. Laguno has gone for the pit lane. Where is he? He is now... Hang on. No, he's still in first position. He's gone for the slicks. I apologize. The order once again is very mixed up. That is... I don't think that that's the real order. Now we see Matt, Toaster, and... Yeah, Matt's also not up there. We see Toaster in the pit lane. The McLarens are now on dry tires as well. Laguno has gone for dries earlier, but he's certainly not down there. He's also not in the lead. He is, of course, here he is, just behind the McLarens. And that is not good to watch. And then there's the Williams. That is Matt, who is up there on merit. That must be legit. Kad'O still with a bit of distance to the top after that crash at the last corner, which almost ruined Laguno's race as well. He's trying to restore what's been lost. He also has to defend from the Williams behind him. I'm really sorry for the lag right now. I don't see what I can do. I don't want to interrupt my connection, because then the lobby might just crash. I'm just gonna try and figure out what is proper racing and what is lag. Well, Laguno definitely is closing up and now inching ahead, maybe heading into Abbey, trying to pass Toaster on the inside in the next few corners. And it seems like he's done so, but now we go wheel to wheel through Love Field, and Laguno is squeezing Toaster to the old pit wall. But still Toaster can hold his ground and stay in second. Now once again the inside for Laguno, runs out Toaster wide. Oh, and he's hit the barrier. That was certainly a mistake by Laguno. That's the same thing that we saw earlier in the crash with Kad'O, but this time it didn't seem stranger inflicted. Finn McMissile has left the game. I think we're gonna have a safety car again. Seb is gone. So, Guillermo just about went through. I was too slow to call the safety car out on lap 36. But now, it is going to be the time. We see Guillermo go through Stowe. The safety car now is waiting in the corner complex of turns 1 and 2. And it is also pit stop for Guillermo. And now, I think in the safety car phase, we are going to see the real order again, because it is very difficult to keep track of it with this HUD, HUD, whatever. But here I am, 4 DNFs in this British Grand Prix so far, shaken up by the rain, by safety cars, and by very unusual crashes between the reigning champion of F1 ES and UMRL, who happen to be teammates in the last race of this league. I'm going to miss it, guys. I am really going to miss it. DQ has almost foamed again. And the safety car is going to come in. That was a very short phase because the field wasn't spread out that much after the first safety car phase. And through the final corner we go once again with Guillermo leading the race 1 and 2 for McLaren again. But Laguno wants to have a say in that as well. And it looks like Toaster has lost 2 positions here. Kad'O and Matt have gone through. Toaster down to P5 on the restart. The Britons disappear from the front. Of course, Pigeon has also lost out in that chaos. He's down in P8 and now wheel to wheel between Laguno and Guillermo. I didn't see the exact incident here, but they went straight on, as we saw so many times today in the rain, in real life. And now they're all there. Toaster trying to restore the... What? That was the last lap. I didn't see it. I didn't see it was the last lap. Thank God I unleashed the safety car. But we went across the line. We went racing again. And Toaster has won his home Grand Prix ahead of Kad'O. Laguno is off the podium. So is Guillermo. It is third position for Matt in the Williams. Is that their first podium in eternities? Or has Matt actually raced for Haas as well, and that's the mixed up liveries? That would make sense, of course, as well. Yeah, what a finish. It reminds me of Austria 2020 in F1, where everyone forgot it was the last lap. Toaster has done it at home by 0.2 of a second ahead of the champion, then 29 hundredths ahead of third place, half a second ahead of Laguno. Then Guillermo stood within a second. Nitro also right there. Then we got Brooke Pedo. Pigeon with the fastest lap still. Finn McMissile taking 1 point home. No, he has also DNF from the race. So Finn, Seb, Alonso and Sanis are for retirement in the last race of Formula 1 eSports. And at the end of the season, let's honor all the drivers that competed in it. Finn McMissile, Georgia JB, Salopete de Pomme, Sigma Bob, Ali Herman, and Chichio Berger have not scored points in this league. Cider is the first one to do so. He's in 28th position. We see lots of gains for Brooke and Laguno here at the back because they competed today, but still they didn't really make it that high up. Brooke in 26th with 6 points. Pizza Panda is tied with him. Then it's Sanis, Glow, Brasidas on 10 points, Lemmert as well with 1/5 position, and Laguno, who did have the chance at 25 points today, only ends up with 12. And we have Snowy taking 4th place at Miami, then Elcrack also with 1/4 place at Suzuka, and the bonus point for the fastest lap in that race. Alonso 33 with 2 point scoring results, adding up to 14 points. Nadir doing the same. Alonso, of course, the pole sitter at the Australian Grand Prix, but then there was the red flag controversy. Then Krusnet, one of the protagonists for McLaren in Season 0, this time only racing once for Williams, taking a podium, as did Sam in his only race in this league at Suzuka. Fede is P13, his best result was a 2nd place. Nitro didn't take a podium, but he just jumps ahead of Fede today. Then we got our first champion, F1 fan, this time only in 11th. He did take a win at China in the sprint, but otherwise barely raced. Majumdar also took a win. He was the final addition to the 7 drivers who won a race in this league. Still, Smooth Operator raced more often and took 9th place. Rimpong in 8th place was a big factor for the success of the Scuderia and Kad'O this season. Seb not finishing today's race, but still winning the Miami Grand Prix, but for Williams, not for Aston, they don't have that many points. Pigeon just beat the Turkish driver though to 6th position. He really was the fastest lap merchant this season. Petter, without a podium, takes P5, but he took part in 12 events, counting sprints and races. And Matt, the team owner of Haas, in P4. He took his first podium today since the Miami sprint. He was our championship leader for quite some time as well. Then Toaster and Guillermo just separated by a single point. Guillermo's blunder, I have to say, at the final corner, which I didn't really notice because there was so much drama. cost him the win and almost second place in the championship. Great performances by both of them. Great to see Toaster holding up his end of the bargain against the UMRL champion from the winter 2025 season. But while the McLarens often had to scrap with the Williams, the RBs, the Haas's, these fights more often than not were just for P2 because Kad'O was just unbeatable this season. 227 points, 7 Grand Prix victories, 1 in the sprint, also the most pole positions. And after winning the first ever Ultimate Mobile Racing League season, he also comes out on top in the fastest cars in this game. Well done to him, well done to Ferrari. Team owner Brasidas will certainly be proud. Of course, he also owns a Truria racing team in UMRL, but it was close. McLaren did have 2 great drivers. Frimpong wasn't there that often and just was outperformed more often than not by Toaster and Guillermo. So there's just 5 points between the top 2 teams. The Racing Bulls make it into P3 quite clearly at the end because Haas barely turned up. Williams sometimes managed to snatch up some good drivers, but that was just very inconsistent. That's why they're in P5. Actually surprising to see Lotus that far down, but while I didn't commentate, they just barely raced anymore. Toaster raced for them at the start, but then went to McLaren. And Matt, of course, racing for Lotus today, as you saw. That still gave them a few points, but it didn't change anything. Jaguar were also pretty far behind on Aston Martin. These two really were the backmarkers of this league. It was a pleasure for me to accompany this league whilst I did it. Of course, I also kind of introduced the safety car to it here, and it was great fun in the final race again. One of the most chaotic. I apologize for how terrible the racing looked on screen here. On my PC screen where I drove the safety car, it actually didn't look that bad. I don't know what I could have done here. I hope it wasn't too bad for the drivers. Still, amazing stories have been written today and in this league. I hope that we are going to see you somewhere where we have a safety car, or just in the Ultimate Mobile Racing League. Let's see what is going to happen. I can imagine this league returning still at some point. Thank you for watching as well.